There we go. Our official friend has alerted us that we are now beginning. I've always wondered who that individual is. For those of you that have experience in the technology world, it's like the you got mail guy from AOL. Who is that person, right? I would love to know. Well, on that note, welcome, and I'm happy to see everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Patrick Cranley, and I'm the Distance Education Coordinator here at CRC. I've been at CRC for this is the beginning of my second year. I was asked to come and join the faculty at CRC while Greg Beyer is off serving as Academic Senate President. I originally come from Sac City College. I'm tenured faculty. I've been teaching 3D modeling and animation at Sac City College since 2008. So in every sense, this is my wheelhouse, making videos and making animations. So you're talking with the right guy when it comes to all of this stuff. Now that we've shifted our entire focus of our entire institution over to online, video is playing a much more direct role in everything that we're doing. And for us as educators, video provides an excellent opportunity to showcase in a small, condensed format a very complex idea. It allows us to communicate directly to our students in a form and in a medium that's natural to them. We come to our classes and our students land at our doorsteps because they want to have a physical relationship with someone. Videos help facilitate that relationship. If you look at the videos that we're accustomed to watching all across the web, we return to our favorite YouTube personality for a number of different reasons. One of them is the idea that we've made a connection with these personalities. So video is an important item inside of our toolbox, if you will, as educators. And today's presentation is going to start looking very specifically and very directly at how we can make a video inside of Canvas, and probably most importantly, the big picture purpose of this video as we walk through the creation of all of our learning resources. So how to use a video. There's some nuts and bolts, and we're going to get to that. We're going to start off today by talking about the production pipeline, the process that everyone should be going through to create a video. Videos are not, good videos are organically created, but there's some structure behind them that allows for the facilitation of a message to our students. Videos, like our lectures in our class, is really an opportunity for us to talk to our students, to engage with them at a different level. So we need to be strategic and think about how we're messaging and communicating to our students to ensure that the purpose of the video is not being lost in the glitz and the glamour, right? Because we can have a lot of glitz and glamour in videos, right? We can put animations and sound effects and all this fun stuff, but if the message isn't there, all that stuff has been for naught. So does anyone have experience building videos just in general? You just raise your hand. I can see all of you in gallery view. Yeah, a couple folks. Awesome. How's it going with the video production pipeline? The part that's the biggest challenge for folks is understanding the sequence. And as we begin to start our time in the video production world, I like to remind everyone that we should be following Hollywood, the television and the film world. The television and film guys and gals have been doing this perfectly for about 100 years, right? They've mastered the sequence of going from this really loose concept all the way to distribution, all the way to getting it in front of the eyeballs of our audience members. And Hollywood follows a very simple 3-stage process that I like to encourage that even educators should follow. And it's simply pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production is where we as educators, I like to encourage folks to spend as much time as possible. Pre-production is where we plan our video. And even though a lot of these videos are organically created, and we should be looking to organically create these moments to humanize ourselves and the content that we're talking about, we should come at it with a very defined plan, an outline, if you will. We want these videos to be purposeful, to have a really intense point that we're trying to make to our students. Yeah, sorry, I'm flying solo today, so I'm trying to follow chat and talk at the same time. So I apologize if I get distracted by chat. So I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. As always, and I apologize for not mentioning this earlier. If you have any questions, please make sure you raise your digital hand, or just flag me down on your gallery view. I'm good with that too, right? Act like you're trying to land an aircraft, and I'll make sure I stop and answer your questions the moment that you have them. But the pre-production stage is really about planning our video. And there are a couple suggestions that I like to make when going through the pre-production stage. First is have an idea of the length of each one of these videos. What would you imagine, and you can feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat, what would you imagine is a good length for an instructional video? I see 10 minutes. I like it. Thank you. I love it. Great.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 15. Yeah, absolutely. These are all good. I'm happy that no one said an hour. That's 10 to 20 minutes. That's a good target. That's a good target. I try to shoot
5 minutes for me.
5 minutes, and that's fine as long as those 5 minutes are impactful, right? As long as those 5 minutes have a point. Imagine yourself in your student's shoes. You show up to the first day of class, and you have to sit there for an hour listening to a lecture on something that you quite don't necessarily have a strong relationship with yet, right? With a person you don't know, with a content that you haven't really grabbed onto yet. Are they going to be interested and engaged for an hour? In a live environment, I think of at times teaching is kind of like a performance, right? It's a performance-based art form to a certain degree. Our personality and our performance in the class oftentimes grabs our students' attentions, and we have tools at our disposal in person that can continue to drive the content forward. But in a video, you can't reach out and grab someone the way you can in a classroom, metaphorically grab someone. So we have to be purposeful. Short videos are more impactful. We also have to consider our audience and the history of video consumption that they're coming to our classrooms with. Our audiences have been almost conditioned in the short video format. They're used to seeing small videos that are about 7 to 10 minutes in length. That's kind of like the sweet spot, about 7 minutes. There is a wonderful, wonderful video host similar to YouTube called Wistia. And Wistia primarily focuses on, they focus on like the business side, the commercial side of video hosting. If YouTube is more of the social media kind of, home for all of our videos, Wistia really caters towards the professional business world. And they did a fantastic research study about 2 years where they analyzed all of the videos across their network. So I think a couple million videos. And they looked at the engagement graph. So when people were leaving the video to go somewhere else. And they noticed that the sweet spot is right about 7 minutes. 7 minutes is usually about when people start checking out of their videos. Even if they're incredibly engaged, if they're focusing on content and you're providing information that just is like they're in love with, 7 minutes is that kind of magical spot, right? As far as us for instruction, on the instructional side, it's better to have a whole series of short videos than one mega video, right? Oftentimes our lecture content could be an hour. If we're used to lecturing live in a classroom, that's 45 to 50 minutes of direct content that we're providing to our students. In the video format, we want to break that content up into a whole series of shorter videos, right? More shorter videos is better than one mega video. Right? Because it's important that our students get all the way through the video, right? If they're leaving at the first couple of minutes, then mission failure on our part, right? We're not crafting the video and the presentation in a way that allows them to get through to the conclusion of it. So shorter videos are fine. Any questions on that? And I've seen it in chat. Blanca, you're not alone. It's okay. We've all done it, right? To a certain degree, I'm doing it now, right? We're doing an hour-long presentation on making videos. It's okay, right? That's part of the process. But these are a little bit different because they're kind of live, kind of not. We're going to be archiving them so people can see what they look like after the fact. But for when you're doing this asynchronously, and this really speaks to the asynchronous world, a lot of short videos are better than one mega video, right? And our students are going to be able to make connections to certain ideas in the shorter videos at a much higher rate than a longer video, right? They almost turn into small little libraries. The content of the video is indexed in our students' brains, and they'll be able to go, okay, this video about this idea is encapsulated in this one video. They don't have to hunt. They understand because they're able to grab onto these ideas a little bit easier. I also see someone mentioning podcasts. Podcasts, different beast and different consumption model. If you think about how our students and the audience of a podcast go, overwhelmingly, it's not in front of a screen. People are listening to it. You know, I listen to podcasts when I'm driving to work, or when I was driving to work every day. I often listen to a podcast when I'm doing the dishes at night. So the consumption model for a podcast is different, which almost lends itself to a longer format. Often podcasts are, not all podcasts, but often podcasts are interviews, things, long form content that really kind of lends itself to a much longer duration. When it comes to instructional videos, shorter is better. Shorter is better because we want to make sure these are learning moments, right? One of our larger battles that we have to fight when it comes to video inside of a classroom is the idea that our students are often used to seeing videos in an entertainment focus, through an entertainment lens. Well, now they're looking at it through an educational lens. So shorter is definitely a whole lot better, in my opinion. Okay, any other questions about length before we go on? Everyone's good, rock and roll. Okay, cool. So one of the things that we can do, and one of the ideas that I would heavily suggest when you're planning your videos in this pre-production stage is to write a script, to physically map out exactly what you're going to say. Now, as educators that have years and years and years of experience, this is easy for us because we already know what we're going to say. Oftentimes, as professional educators, we've said this thing 80 million times already. You know, I've been teaching since 2008. You know, for me now, I have my lesson plans. Everything is, you know, I know what I'm doing, right? I know what I'm going to say. I know how the class is going to be run. But when it comes to making a video, we have to take these very long ideas and examine how we can shorten them into little smaller chunks. So script it out. 2 ideas. Think of it like this. Think of it like you're writing a 3-page paragraph, an introduction, or 3-page paragraph. This is when I can't manage chat, talk, and think at the same time. A 3-paragraph paper, excuse me. You know, we have an introduction, we have some body content, and then a small conclusion. We're not trying to produce and read War and Peace in one 7-minute video. We're trying to distribute one idea, or maybe 2 ideas in one small video. Script it out. Keep it simple. You don't have to do a word-for-word script. I don't do that. Even on, you know, my stuff, here's my script for the day. It's just a simple outline. That works too, because you know the words, you know the content, you know exactly how to communicate this information. We just need to condense it down into small little chunks so that our audience can consume it a little bit more cleanly. So script it out. And here's the thing that takes a little bit of getting used to. Practice, believe it or not. Practice performing it to camera. Get all the technology kind of mastered before you hit that record button. And this is my crazy brain. When I think of technology, I think of my brain too, right? Because my brain often gets in the way when I'm making a video. So if you practice it 3 or 4 times and get comfortable with what you're going to say, the next stage of the video production pipeline is going to go a whole lot easier. And that's the production stage. By practicing it a few times, you start to hone your brain into this short form content. I'm a guilty party of this. There's been a lot of videos where I'm super excited about what I'm talking, and the next thing I know, I've rambled on for 20 minutes about how awesome, you know, 3D modeling is, right? And then I take a step back and I look at what I made and I go, they're never going to get to the end. So I need to condense it. Okay. So that's practicing and scripting out. Just a loose script really makes the next stage of our video production pipeline go a whole lot easier. Because the overwhelming challenge that we have when it comes to creating the videos is that middle stage, is the production stage. That's the tough part. That's where we physically make the video. That's where we physically have to hit the record button and perform, right? And to a certain degree, it's like a performance, right? If we're scripted and we're practiced, and if we know what we're going to say, and if we've designed the video in a sense that ensures that they're small, focused little topics, it's going to go a whole lot easier. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a script, if you don't have a simple little outline, it's going to take about 8 times as long as you would like it to take to make a video. And that turns into a big challenge for all of us because we all have limited amount of resources. Time is one of them. I remember saying someone in March, I designed my entire video production pipeline so that it takes me, 3 minutes to make a 2-minute video, right? By the time I hit the record button, I want it to take just a little bit longer than the duration of the video itself. It's like painting a room. What's the first thing you're supposed to do when you paint? Prepare the walls, right? You're supposed to mask out all the doors, the windows. Shoot, even professional painters would say you're supposed to sand the walls and prepare the surfaces for painting. No one wants to do that, right? That's no fun. You want to get the gallon of paint out and the rollers and start going to town and having fun, right? That's the part that everyone loves. The pre-production stage in a video production pipeline is similar to the masking of the windows and the sanding and the cleaning of the walls. It's a necessary evil that makes the end result logarithmically better. So I can't recommend it enough. Okay, Patrick, I see your question. I think we're going to talk about that here in a minute. These questions: how do we improve presentations that include PowerPoints? And we're going to come back to that here in a minute. So hang tight. I see your question. All right. So we have the pre-production stage, which is all about planning our video. We have production, which is about recording the video, and we're going to go into the physical recording section here in a minute. And then the last thing that you want to focus on, or the last thing that you should consider as you start to design these videos for your classrooms, is post-production. Now, through the lens of an academic institution and instructional videos, post-production is really all about distribution. We are all professional educators. The only person in the room, and I'm saying this in general, that has any experience in making professional videos is me. I'm a professional video editor. I'm certified. This is my entire life. Don't try to be me, right? Don't try to be me. Be you, right? Be you. That's what's most important when it comes to post-production, right? If you want to spend your own time doing graphics and editing, I'm here to help you, and I encourage that because the overall quality of your video is going to go up, which is a good thing. But in the instructional sense, you don't need to have a flashy video with all these graphics and quick cuts and music. And if you're used to seeing all the This Week in Canvas stuff that I made, you don't have to do that for an instructional video because those ideas are not why your students are coming to these videos. They're not coming here to be entertained as they would for the the nightly news or some other celebrity YouTube channel, right? They're coming to be taught by you. So those graphics are not necessarily required for good instructional videos. And thank you, Sydney, for the love on the This Week in Canvas videos. Greg and I work very hard on those. They're a lot of fun, and we have a whole series of new This Week in Canvas videos planned for the rest of the semester. So hang tight on that if you like it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, crc-de. Hit the little subscribe button, hit the bell so you're notified. Sorry, I've said that 1,000 times. Yes, I can recommend some free video editing software and some resources that we have a little bit later on that will help you if you want to edit your videos. I think editing videos in the instructional sense starts to strip out the humanity of the videos itself. It's okay to be extraordinarily imperfect on camera for instructional videos. I am not Tom Brokaw, right? This is not the NBC nightly news where everything is perfect and polished and absolutely just, factory made. This is not that space, right? Our students create a relationship with us, and that relationship is enhanced by seeing our own imperfections. By the nature of what I teach, there's a lot of technology in 3D modeling and animation. And I mess up, and I don't edit out the mistakes, right? Sometimes I hit the wrong button. I've done videos where the computer has crashed or the software has crashed in the middle of a video, and I keep going. And I say, hey, this happens. This is part of life, right? We're not perfect beings, so we shouldn't try to be perfect beings on camera. Okay. So the post-production stage, don't put an emphasis on editing. We're our own worst critics. We really are. We want to strip out the ums and the ahs and the dead spaces. Don't worry about that. Your students are used to hearing that. You would do it in the classroom, so don't worry about doing it in a video as well. They're not here to be entertained. They're here to be taught, and they're here to learn. And in that environment, the imperfections are just fine, just fine. The last thing about distribution that we want to just kind of touch on is that at the design stage is an understanding, or just at least a little bit of consideration as to where this video is going to live. Is it going to live on YouTube? Is it going to live on Vimeo? Is it going to live on Canvas Studio? Is it going to live somewhere on your computer? Things that we should consider, because as we design our videos and start to go into the production pipeline, we should consider every stage before we start. That way we have a good game plan, that it's not a mystery, that we understand how all of these pieces work together to give us that final result. So we'll be looking at some of the distribution tools here in a minute. Are there any questions on the three big stages of making a video? I make hundreds of videos every semester. I recently, last fall, excuse me, I redid my 3D modeling class from the ground up. It was time, right? And I think at the end of the semester, I took a step back and I looked at it. I think I had 147 videos for one class, right? I go through this pre-production, production, and post-production kind of thinking process for every single one of my videos. You get good at it after a while. I don't have to think about the post-production anymore. I have a kind of a machine and a workflow that makes it real easy. But it's it's a muscle that you build over time, right? And the more that we go through it, the easier it's going to become. So good questions over in chat. We're going to come back to the questions on Canvas Studio here in a minute. The short answer is kinda, and I'll show you why it's a kinda instead of a hard yes or a hard no. So we'll come back to that. All right, so most of you are probably likely here to see some nuts and bolts, and I want to make sure that you're available of how some of our technology works, because the technology in the production stage is a major hurdle. And I'm going to share my screen here in a second, and we're going to look at some tools that will help us go through this entire production pipeline. So we're going to assume that I've gone through my production stage, that I have a good script, I know what I'm going to do, I'm ready to start recording, right? I have a battle plan that I think is going to be impactful for my students. Give me 1 second, just going to make sure I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's here. Okay. And I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, so I've just shared with you Canvas, and please apologize all of the SCC coloring. Right now I'm teaching the only class that I'm teaching is at Sac City College, and the reason why I brought you to this class is that this is a live class. This has all the bells and whistles in Canvas. Oftentimes our development environment, and if you have a Canvas course, if you manage a Canvas course that's for a division or a department, those Canvas courses live in a different area that's separate from our production classes. And our production classes have all the bells and whistles. It has all the security functionality, so it really is a true representation of the total tool set that's available for us here inside of Canvas. And so I'm in my production class. This is the class that I'm working on for this fall. And these are all the default tools that show up inside of Canvas. And there's really two ways that you can record easily inside of Canvas. So if you're ready to start making a video, and I want to draw your attention to this option right here, which is called Canvas Studio. Canvas Studio is our video recording management and distribution platform built into Canvas, and it is quite good. If you don't have this link inside of your course navbar, just go down to your settings. Your course settings is going to allow you to customize this entire experience. Let me just jump in real fast so you guys have a frame of reference. And specifically, you want to go into the navigation tab at the top of your screen. All of these options at the top are the tools that are currently active inside of your course. The ones down below, the divider here, are the ones that are disabled. If you've imported a course from a previous semester, well, Canvas Studio may have been disabled last semester, so it's likely to be disabled now. Larger point being, just do yourself a good double check, make sure that Canvas Studio has been enabled. If it's not, find it on the list, and you can either simply left click and drag that tool above, or just click on the three little dots and choose enable from the pop-up menu that appears underneath your cursor. Okay, so I'm already, oh, and also don't forget to save all of your course settings down here at the bottom. Okay, I haven't made any changes to mine, so let's just jump over into the Canvas Studio interface and begin to explore and analyze how this environment works. Okay, so welcome to your course library. It's empty at the moment because I haven't recorded any video inside of Canvas Studio. Hold on one sec, checking my chat. I can see the chat's blowing up right now. Okay, yes, Canvas Studio should be visible to your students as well. Okay, so this is your course library. These are going to be all the videos that you've recorded for this particular course. Canvas Studio allows us to record, manage, and distribute, kind of embed videos inside of our Canvas experience. And it all begins with this button right here. In the upper right-hand corner, this record button. Clicking on this record button will give you two options. You can either do what's called a screen capture, which will physically record the boundaries of your computer screen. So it's kind of a what you see is what you get, right? If you see it on your computer screen, it's going to be recorded into a movie file for you. You can also do a webcam capture, which is just going to take the video feed from your webcam and record it. These are really great for introduction videos, announcements. If you want to have just a small little video of just you on camera, this is a great way to facilitate that need right here inside of Canvas. For what I'm going to be demonstrating, I'm just going to do screen capture. Now, if this is the first time that you've done this, you're going to get a popover that looks very, very similar to this. It's going to ask you to open the screen recorder application or download the screen recorder application. What's going to happen on the first time? Yep, here it goes. It's going to say, hey, I haven't installed the software that I need to record some videos on your computer. It's a small little download. It's a package. It comes from a very reputable source. I'll take you to that source here in a minute, but please download the small little series of drivers and utilities that will facilitate the screen capture inside of Canvas. Okay, so I'm going to hit open screen recorder. It's going to think about it here for a second. It does take a minute to kind of launch in. I'm working on a Mac here, so here we go. There it is. I already had the application installed, so but you'll have to install it if it's new for you. Once the application is up and running, this little checker dotted line represents the area of the screen that you're currently going to record. Okay, and you can make this bigger or smaller just by dragging on the sides. There we go, making it all full screen. If you only want to record a portion of your screen, that's fine too. It's good to be able to customize this any way you want using the stuff in here. You also have some options down here. Some of this is pretty self-explanatory. The size, this is the only thing that I would encourage you to look at. Right now, it's taking the resolution or the size of the box as the size of the video. Now, if you're looking to distribute this video on YouTube or even Canvas Studio, there are some broadcast standards that we would like folks to record to, and they're demonstrated here or visualized here with these options. 1080p, this is high definition video. This will show up on any screen in the world just fine. If there's a lot of odd shaped computer screens out there. My older brother, he just got a brand new computer screen that's like 40 inches wide, but it's really narrow, right? So the screen resolution of that computer screen doesn't match our broadcast standards. My suggestion is to stay in this 1080p world, right? This is automatically going to resize that little window, excuse me, the recording area. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not showing.
Ah, okay. All right. So imagine that there's a dotted line. Do you see the record settings in the lower right-hand corner? I have an idea. I know why. I only shared Chrome, and I'm going to share my entire desktop, which should, let's see if this works. Okay. Do you see my Zoom window? Can you guys see this record window now too? Many apologies. So now you probably can see the dotted lines that all of you guys are probably like, what in the world is he talking about? These dotted lines represents the boundary of the recording area. You can customize it by clicking on the corners. However, what I would recommend is that you choose 1080p from the list. And the reason why is that this is going to be a video when uploaded to both Canvas Studio or YouTube that's going to work on every screen in the world. Getting the video resolution inside of one of our broadcast standards ensures that it's a universally created video and that can be seen everywhere. The last thing you want is one of your students to notify you and say, you know, Professor Pat, I can't see my video or your video on my phone, or it's only showing up, you know, super teeny tiny. If you use this 1080p video broadcast standard, almost all of those problems magically go away. All right, other questions?
Yeah, if I was, say I was talking over a PowerPoint, and I usually put my image also in the corner so they can kind of see me as I talk. I like that. But if I choose the 1080, then is part of my PowerPoint slides not going to be in the visible area?
It depends on how you set up your PowerPoint slides.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see if I can give you a very direct answer on that. PowerPoint you should be able to, actually I know you can be able to go in and change the screen dimensions of your PowerPoint slides to 1920 by 1080p. And I believe it may actually be the default now. Here I am in PowerPoint. I use Keynote for all of my presentations, so if I stumble around in PowerPoint, I apologize.
Yeah, I use both too.
Yeah, but you can change it. You can change the image size in PowerPoint. And if you've created all of your PowerPoint slides at 1080p and you're recording your videos at 1080p, you shouldn't have anything cut off.
Okay.
It even kind of speaks to that pre-production stage. Test it all out. Make sure you have all of these little kinks ironed out before you get going. That way you can just hit record and not have to worry. Okay. So if you're, and I've got to apologize, I am working, it's a little bit difficult to manage a Zoom, screen recorders, and chat at the same time. So I apologize if it's a little clunky. There's windows everywhere and I want to make sure I'm getting everything. Okay, so I'm going to put my screen recording size back to 1080p. And my computer monitor is a little bit higher resolution than 1080p. And you can see that it's not going all the way to the boundaries. So here's something that I've done. And let's just go back to PowerPoint here. And let's start, my Zoom interface is on top of the buttons. Okay. Oops, hit the wrong button. And my PowerPoint presentation went to the other computer monitor. Here we go, swap the displays. Okay, so this is a common problem that you're going to see. Most of the PowerPoint presentations, there's going to be a little bit of a bleed around the borders here. So as long as the content is on the inside of this box, that's all that matters. That's all it matters. It is absolutely what you see is what you get environment. If you can see it inside of PowerPoint, or if you can see it inside the window, that's going to be what's recorded and captured. So just pre-flight it, make sure that everything's looking good. You know, at times people like having this webcam in here as well. I'm not a fan of that. That's just something that's a personal preference. I don't think I think some students like seeing their professor and the content at the exact same time. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of research that says that it's going to increase the engagement rates of our videos, but you certainly can. And right now mine is set to way down over here in the lower right hand corner. There we go. So as long as it's inside the box, it should be just fine. So I'm not going to try to record something at the moment because of all the technology that we have working. But when you're ready to go, make sure that you check your microphone. And specifically, you want to make sure that you're getting pretty good levels from the microphone. And when I say levels, I mean just you want good, solid green bars in here. The thing that is going to turn your students off is audio, believe it or not. People hear before they see. We will sit and watch 5 minutes of static as long as there's engaging, high-quality audio that's associated with it. So spend some time really listening and ensuring that the audio that's being captured is of good quality. Try to push out as many distractions as you can. I was recording a video last week, and my neighbor, since I'm working from home, my neighbor used that moment to mow his lawn, and I just waited 10 minutes or so for my neighbor to finish mowing his lawn. That way my audience, my students, would not be distracted by the sound of a lawnmower going. So pay attention to your audio. Depending on which microphone that you have, I have a whole bunch of mics plugged in at the moment. There are some really great USB microphones that I would encourage you to look at. If you want some suggestions on some technology that will help you with the audio, please shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to help with that. But a good microphone is going to pay off pretty fast, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Oftentimes your department will purchase a microphone for you because you can find a pretty good one between $40 and $50. They're not astronomically expensive. And for given the context of what we're doing here in an instructional sense, you do not need a $200 fancy high-end broadcast quality microphone. That's not required. The audio is going to get compressed down into a web format, so the benefits of having a really nice quality microphone are going to be lost when you compress the video and distribute it to YouTube either way. Okay, I'll let you explore some of these preferences on your own, but when you're ready to go, hit the record button, and on now, whatever's inside this dotted line is going to be recorded into a video file itself. Now, what happens next when you hit the stop button is really super important, because Canvas Studio is going to compress the video and it's going to put it back into this environment here. I haven't recorded any videos for this particular class, but I would like to show you a video that I've made for some other classes. That way you have some context as to how all of this works. So, as a reminder, when you go into your course and click on Studio, you're initially only going to be seeing the videos that you've created for this course. If you go onto this pull-down menu and choose Name, it's still not going to pull up any videos. If you're used to working with videos that you've made like last semester or another course, those are still available to us. You just need to go into the triple dot or the triple line icon in the upper left-hand corner of the Canvas Studio interface. And now you can start exploring all of your Canvas classes, okay? And this is one of the benefits of working inside of Canvas Studio. The videos that you record are going to be right here inside of Canvas. Now, I'm going to do something that maybe I shouldn't do. I'm just going to go into my library, which is going to show all the videos that I've recorded inside of Canvas Studio. And now hopefully everyone can see me in a lot of different levels here. And this is what it's going to look like. So when you're done recording it, it's going to show up back in here, okay? Once you have your video, you can start adding it into a course. And this is one of the videos that I made for the OTI. And the beauty of Canvas Studio is that we get to automatically request captions for all of our videos, which is just wonderful. Because whenever we're making a video, we have to follow our ADA, our accessibility guidelines. As professional faculty, it's in our contract that we ensure that all of our learning resources are accessible to all of our students. When it comes to video, the captions are an important, if not most important part of that accessibility framework that we need to adhere to. Canvas Studio does all the hard work for us. Trust me, I've done this. You don't want to sit there and type out your captions. That's a whole lot of no fun, right? It's better to have these wonderful big thinking machines in front of us doing all the hard work for us. And we start that process in this Captions tab, okay? Now, I already have captions created for this video, but down here where it says Manage Captions, there'll be a gigantic button that says Create Captions, or I think technically it says Order Captions, if I remember correctly. This takes a little bit of time. It's not automatic. You have to ask for captions to be created for your video. It takes, depending on the length and the load that the system is currently under, it could be as fast as 20 minutes but I've also seen it take a couple days for captions to be returned back to our Canvas Studio videos. With that in mind, you have to have some lead time on the production of all of these videos. Unfortunately, and this is a best practice that I want to everyone to hear, you can't make your videos the day before you distribute them. You have to make your videos 3 or 4 days before you distribute these videos to your classes, because those captions are an important part of our instructional materials. Once you have them, you can edit them as well. Because even though these computers are automatically using their fancy computer science to listen and to transcribe what they hear into words, computers are they're man-made, they're imperfect, right? And there are going to be some mistakes. So you can absolutely go in and edit these captions after the fact. Unfortunately, you can't, you can download them as well, but you can't upload captions, which is kind of a problem at the moment with Canvas Studio, or not in English at least. Once you have captions in this language, you can't upload it back in English. Not that I'm aware of, but it's pretty great to be able to go in and edit your captions. Once they're there, they're part of the video file forever, right? Until you manually go in and say, delete the caption file. So they're always going to be there. I like to do a good double check on all my captions by playing the video. Hello friends and welcome to Module 8. Turn that down and then just turn it on. And there we go. We're up and running. Canvas Studio is going to place the captions in kind of an odd space. If you look at it, and they're way up here. In Canvas Studio, our captions are going to show up at the top. And it's different from what we're used to seeing in other video platforms. If you're accustomed to viewing your videos in YouTube or Vimeo, for example, all the captions are going to be at the bottom, as you would also expect to see them on a television screen. They're up here at the top in Canvas Studio because we have the ability in Canvas Studio to add some really cool comments. And we can even go in and have little quizzes at certain points inside of Canvas Studio. And so the bottom area of our Canvas Studio video player is reserved for that. I'm not going to go into the details of that quite now because I only got about 10 minutes left, but it's pretty neat. If you look at the documentation on Canvas Studio or just do a simple YouTube search on Canvas Studio, you're going to find some really, really, really great enhancements. It's more than just a video player. It really can turn into a wonderful conversation, a starting point for our videos and for our classes when it comes to our videos. Some people even use Canvas Studio as a quiz, because you can do that. You can actually set quiz questions at specific times of the video, which is pretty neat. The setup is not easy and it's super advanced, but it is a feature of the tool. Okay, so Canvas Studio is an excellent way to create, manage, but what do we do with these videos once we're done? Because they're only going to live inside that Studio tab, and that's really kind of not the best practice that we want, right? We want these videos to be contained in some sort of page, right? And I'm going to take you back into one of the modules that I have for my instruction. And okay, so we want our experience inside of Canvas to be page-centric. We just don't want to place a link to a video inside of our modules area. If you look very carefully at the way I've designed all of my modules here, all of these are pages with rich content embedded in the page itself. These pages provides us as instructors with an opportunity to provide some context to this stuff, right? We can tell them what specifically we want them to do with this video. Do we want them to watch it? Do we want them to take notes on the video? Is there something is there an idea that we want them to specifically listen for to ensure that they're going to be able to learn the content in the next video? I scaffold all of my video concepts, right? So concept A is then built upon by concept B, and we just kind of do this. We build in the skyscraper of knowledge, right? These pages allow us to facilitate and continue that conversation, right? We can provide instructions with them. So this is a great environment to serve our videos, is in a page. This is just an overview, so there's really not much in addition to kind of getting this theory, because this is a theory video. So pages are a fantastic resource. Also, think about the size of your video within the page itself. I found, here, let me take a step back and go to a different page. That's got a little bit more. Let's go in this one. Oh, nope, this is another bad example. All right, well, anyways, think about the video size inside the page itself. If your video is showing up like a little postage stamp inside the page, you're minimizing the visual weight and the visual importance of that instructional material on the page itself. Our human subconscious does a great job of looking at very long, blocks of text. And based on the hierarchy, the visual weight of all the elements, we make associations with those things, right? If your video is this teeny tiny inside the page, you're kind of subconsciously telling your students that this is not as important as maybe something that's larger, a picture that's larger. So if the video is super important, make it as big as you can. Make it as big as you can on the page itself, okay? Now let's go in. I'm going to edit the page real fast, and I can show you guys how we can begin to use all of this lovely Canvas Studio stuff right here inside of Canvas. And here, I'm going to take a step back because it's a little bit easier. This is the new rich content editor. The new rich content editor in Canvas is going to become our official content editor in the spring semester. For many of us, we're still on the old content editor. So I'm going to jump over into another course where we can very easily see that environment. Okay, so I'm going to go into a page real fast and edit that page, which also has apparently I enabled all of the new rich content editor for all of my courses. I'm going to turn it off real fast. If you go into the feature options of any of your Canvas courses, this RCE enhancements, this is the new content editor. I'm just going to turn it off. Make sure I update my course. Let's go back into a page. Okay, so in the old rich content editor, it's this little button right here, the one that looks like a V, a blue V. It's a pull-down menu. It's not actually a V. It's supposed to represent a pull-down menu. And there it is. There's Canvas Studio. FYI, Arc, that's also Canvas Studio. And these are all of the third-party learning tool integrations that we can use to embed content into a page itself. And if you go into Canvas Studio here, it's going to load up your entire Canvas Studio library. And now I can just select it and I can embed it in a video or in a Canvas page. And it's in there. It's just it's bigger than the editor width. If I save the page, there it is. Because now we can see the Canvas Studio video, any comments that a student has made on the video, and you can turn these comments off in the editor, and then you're up and running. If we were to jump into student view, voila, there we go. And this is what our students are going to see. So it's in the rich content editors where we want to embed all of our videos. And it really doesn't matter if you're pulling it from Canvas Studio or YouTube, you're going to get a very similar experience. Now, if you're pulling a video from like Zoom, for example, oftentimes they provide you with what's called the Embed Code, which is a little bit of computer code that's physically going to make a window to that video service inside of one of our Canvas pages, right? Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to go into another YouTube. All right, oops. Here we go. So this is my YouTube channel. I do, in addition to teaching at Sac City, I have a YouTube channel that's called the Sculpting Shack, where we do digital sculpting. Think about a digital lump of clay, if you will, and we use sculpting tools. And what you're seeing here, all the videos that I've done for my Sculpting Shack stuff. If you're working with any video service, and it really does mean any video service, often what they're going to provide to you is what's called the Embed Code. And let's look at this on YouTube itself. You'll see the exact same thing with Canvas. And it looks like this. I'm on YouTube, so the share button will give me my embed code. And this is what we want to use to copy and paste into our Canvas pages. And let's just do it real fast. I've copied it, Command-C or Control-C on a PC to copy that web code. And if we simply travel back into Canvas,
hello friends, and
whoops.
welcome to module.
Let me get out of here. Let's get exit student view. Let's edit the page. I'm going to very happily delete myself. And this is where the old content editor kind of gets in the way because we can't make it full screen. Okay, so I want to embed that YouTube video, and we do that in the HTML editor. This is the only part of working with video that requires a little bit of code and a little bit of knowledge on how all this works. To very quickly embed the code, just transition over to your HTML editor. You'll see all the computer code that's being generated to completely draw this page. And what I like to do is at the top or at the bottom, just give myself a couple line breaks and then simply paste in the content that I got from YouTube. If we return to the rich content editor, there it is. I think I got some permission stuff. This is I copied and pasted a video that has not been published yet on YouTube, which is why all of this is going haywire. But the process is the same. If we save the video, this is the experience that we'll get. Okay, so hopefully that starts to describe the overall sequence that one has to go through to take a video from concept all the way through to completion. Write your script, practice it, record it in Canvas Studio. You can also record in another website called Screencast-O-Matic, and I'll put it Screencast-O-Matic. There's a free version and a pro version. Oops, I apologize. I just sent that to Brandon. Screencast-O-Matic is a great addition to our tool set. It's going to feel very comfortable and very familiar to Canvas Studio because it is. It's the exact same thing, almost the exact same interface. One of the things that I like about Screencast-O-Matic that's different from Canvas Studio is it allows you to record all of your videos locally to your computer. And I'm a control freak. I like to manage all of my own data. I like having everything out there in the cloud. That's very cool. But being able to physically back it up on an external hard drive is something that I like to do myself. Okay. Okay. Other questions? And I apologize for not keeping up with chat. Feel free to unmute yourself and jump in if you have a question because we only got about 5 minutes left.
What about if you're in different districts and transferring between one district and another?
Yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue. If you're transferring things from one district, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't record in Canvas Studio. I'd record inside of Screencast-O-Matic, somewhere that you can get a local video. Another thing, if you're working on a Mac, the QuickTime player will allow you to record a screen capture of your screen as well, and you can do that entirely through QuickTime. Other tools that are fantastic, if you have the cache, Camtasia is the Mercedes-Benz of screencasting applications. It's Mac and PC. If you talk very kindly to your division dean, they will likely purchase you a license. Unfortunately, it's because of the cost of the individual licenses, the school can't purchase big groups of them. But at the local department and division level, it's very likely that they'll be able to provide those to you if you ask nicely.
Hey, Patrick, earlier I think you said you were going to recommend some video editing software.
Yes, so video editing software. If you're on a Mac, iMovie works really great. Just fantastic. It's free. It's part of the system. Premiere Pro, believe it or not, is what I was gonna provide to you guys. It's made by a company called Adobe. It's a professional video application that we as faculty get access to for $20 a year, which is crazy. It's pretty ridiculous. They're giving it away for faculty. And it's a fantastic application. I cannot recommend it enough for video editing. It's cross-platform. Once you get past the initial kind of hurdle on the interface, it becomes a really, really easy tool to use. You pair that with all the training that you find from the Vision Resource Center, because the state chancellor provides us access to what used to be called lynda.com. It's now called LinkedIn Learning. They provide access to all of those learning resources. You can get up and running with Premiere Pro pretty quickly.
Patrick, have a question.
Yes.
Is there a limit capacity when uploading those videos from Canvas Studio? You know,
like a
you know,
length
yeah,
capacity or?
No, you know how you say you have like 100 videos. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, so is there a limit or?
Not that I've run into.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, not that I've run into. I would imagine that there probably is a limit, but it's some crazy limit like
Okay.
10,000 or something like that.
Okay,
I haven't run into it yet.
100. Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Here's a pro tip. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Question for you. This has been a good introduction to using video in Canvas. How many people here would be interested in a second one of these or a more advanced version to continue? There's so much that you covered that, you know, we're going to need to go and play, but I could see where a second version of this would be very helpful.
Yeah, and I am very, very open to doing that again. Maybe we can even make this like a monthly workshop as we go through it. Because admittedly, there are some moving parts. There's some moving parts that we need to master. Your experience is going to give you a lot of confidence in those moving parts. I was working with a faculty member last week about remediating a lot of their learning materials to align to our accessibility guidelines. And the job was just overwhelming, right? Because there were so many PowerPoint slides and Word documents that this individual needed to go through to bring them up to our standards, right? And my suggestion was just do one thing. Just do the headers this semester, right? Just get that one thing kind of nailed down, and then it's not as overwhelming. Same with videos. Don't try to do, like me, 147 videos for a semester. Do one video announcement a week, right? Or make it a goal to do a video announcement, a welcome address for your class this semester, and then once we get back past the craziness of the first 2 or 3 weeks, then maybe do a live screen capture, right? And post that. So you don't have to, don't try to push the boulder up the hill. Yeah, push it an inch.
Pat, this is Katie. How would you suggest dealing with captions? Those are like the bane of my existence.
Yeah,
I've done
me too.
lots of videos in Camtasia. I usually write a script. I upload the script because it helps with the editing.
Here's my hack, and this is honestly what I do because I don't have the patience to sit there and manage captions, right? YouTube is my go-to. I use YouTube as my slave, my caption slave. I publish almost all of the videos that I make to YouTube and let them auto caption because they can do large groups of videos simultaneously. Then, and let me see, I may actually have one here on my desktop because I was doing some work. Then you can download the caption files, the SRT files, and then you can edit it in TextEdit.
Yep.
I do that. Yeah. As editing, the creation of the captions is automated on many levels. Our computer servers will auto caption stuff, but it's the editing of those captions that turns into the Herculean lift, right? Going in and adding punctuation and capitalization and commas and all that jazz. That's what takes forever. Doing those types of editing inside the YouTube editor and the Canvas Studio editor is slow. It's way thumbs down. If you can do it in TextEdit or Notepad, it goes a whole lot faster. Like, for example, I do find and replace for the word canvas, and I replace it with canvas that's capitalized, right? So there's some workflow enhancers that, when you do it offline, I guess, that makes it not as painful. It's still painful.
Where, this Canvas Studio is a little bit of an issue right now because it's difficult to upload scripts, although I saw from Hiram that you can upload VTT files.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I didn't get it to work yesterday, so. And
we're still figuring it out, which is not fun. Another thing that you can do, and this is the long form doing it, is uploading your videos to 3C Media. And I think it's 3cmedia.com. It's financed by the State Chancellor's Office, and they will caption your files for you. And then,
do they have funding?
They do. They just got refunded.
Okay.
They ran out of money at the worst time of the year because when we went online, everyone said, hey, 3C, caption our hundreds of thousands of videos. And they ran out of money pretty quickly, but they got refunded for the fall. I think a lot of local school districts are supporting them with additional fundings to make sure that their service is continuing. If you want some more information on 3C Media, just shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to send you some stuff. I hesitate on 3C Media because their timelines are very long. It has taken me at the longest a week to 10 days to get a video back from them. YouTube, so it's like you got to pick and choose how you want to spend your time, right? YouTube will auto caption your video. Like a 10-minute video will take about 30 minutes for YouTube to auto caption. And then I got about another 20 or 30 minutes of hand editing, and then I'm up and running. 3C Media, you give it to them, they're going to give you back perfect human-made captions because they write all the captions out. But that's just going to take a while to get it back. Potentially a while to get it back.
Patrick.
Yes.
Jason here. So, how do you feel about Zoom? Because I know when I do my stuff with Zoom, I know it might be a little bit different platform, but you can do screen capture on that as well.
Yep.
It doesn't take very long for those videos to be processed, and you use the embed code function like you would with YouTube, and their captions are automatically rendered, and they're actually really good. So I know that's one more thing that somebody might have to kind of learn, but I just know when I did Zoom for the last half of last semester, I posted those videos, and they worked out pretty well. But again, one more learning curve.
Yeah. One more thing, there are 1,000 different applications that fundamentally do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Find one that works for you. If you have another application, another workflow that we haven't addressed today, and it works and it gives you the exact same result, do it, right? There's no reason that you have to use Canvas Studio or YouTube. There's a lot of stuff out there that will that do the exact same thing.
Patrick, this is Evelyn Silva. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Listen, just really quickly, I want to go back one step. You went into Page and you showed us where there's an advanced page for next semester, and you switched back to the pages that what it looks like now. Are we supposed to go to the one for next semester or just leave ours like it is?
Here's what I would suggest. I would suggest doing what's comfortable at the moment. If you're used to working with the old content editor, get through the next 3 or 4 weeks and then start to experiment with the new rich content editor. It will be the default content editor for the spring semester. They're end-of-lifing that technology, and we are physically moving on to this new content editor. Now might not be the best time to play with new technology because we're about to start and things are about to get really hectic for all of us. But at some point in the next 3 or 4 weeks, turn it on. Start getting comfortable with the layout of it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Question.
Sorry.
Hiram's been waiting, and I apologize.
So one thing I've been interested in, I do kind of just traditional live lectures that can go however long the class is supposed to go. What I've been interested in doing, though, is to take those lectures and cut them down into segments that cover different topics within the broad lecture. Is there any software that might be efficient for just cutting videos down like that, or is Premiere Pro what you would suggest?
Premiere Pro is what I would suggest. It's worth the $20 investment. A lot of the free stuff out there is really designed for short videos, right? So if you're bringing in a video file that's an hour long, the free online web stuff is not going to give you a really great experience. Premiere Pro is incredibly efficient. It's purpose built to do exactly what it is that you're trying to do. And I can't recommend it enough.
Thank you.
Yep.
In Premiere Pro, we can find that again where?
So the easiest way to get access to Premiere Pro is through collegebuys.org. And collegebuys.org is run by the State Chancellor's Office, and it is a service that is provided to both us and our students to get academic software for all of our classes. And if you sign in as a faculty member in Los Rios, you get access to buy a Adobe Creative Cloud license for faculty that I think is $20 a year. So it's pretty good unless they've recently changed the prices. I see many people logging on at the moment, so if the prices have changed, let us all know because I don't have it in front of me.
So we go for the Adobe product.
Yeah, Adobe Creative Cloud. And the cool thing about what Adobe is doing with all of their software is you buy one license and it gets you access to everything that they have, including Photoshop and Illustrator and all this professional design stuff.
Patrick, is that the same as Premiere Elements?
No, Premiere Elements is a kind of a toned down version. Yeah, think of it like Premiere Pro Lite. Other questions? And I know I've gone over my time, and I apologize for.
Patrick, yeah. So I know we were given a license key individually for the Adobe Cloud platform that includes everything. So within that, if we wanted to go to the Premiere Pro, we would have to, would there be a separate link that we would click? I thought it came with our license agreement for a while.
Yeah, and thank you, Jason, for reminding me, because this is a difference between SCC and CRC. I think CRC provides faculty with, or they used to provide faculty with access to the Adobe apps. The SCC, you don't get that. And if memory serves, it may be on the IT department's webpage where they talk about getting access, local access to Adobe apps. So you may save yourself $20 by going that way.
Okay.
Yeah, but my understanding, it's the same thing. You should be able to get access to Premiere Pro in either one of the licenses.
Okay. Not that I'm trying to learn that much about video editing, but yeah, it looks fun.
And and the basic tools in Premiere Pro will get you through what you're going to need to get through.
Okay.
A question back about Screencast-O-Matic. So if I use that, is that going to do the captions in the same way that you explained for Studio?
No.
Will it provide captions?
No. So if you remember, when you're with Screencast-O-Matic, you're recording, and then you're going to upload that video to Canvas or YouTube, and then Canvas Studio or YouTube will caption the video for you.
So I can upload it to Canvas Studio, but then I would have to do the captions separately for every single district that I'm teaching in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. YouTube is my suggested way of doing it. That way it's on a centralized, unmanaged resource from a school district. If you upload to YouTube, YouTube's going to caption it for you. You can edit all the captions right there in YouTube, and then you can embed that YouTube video anywhere that you're working. Like and I also find the management of large video libraries in YouTube a little bit easier than managing large video libraries in Canvas Studio. But that's just how my crazy brain works. Now, I don't want to keep everyone. I know it's only going to go to 11. So if you have another workshop that you're jumping into, my feelings will not be hurt if you want to start jumping out. But I'm definitely stay around for questions and help folks out where I can.
Quick question I
Absolutely.
have. You were talking about the size of the video within a page on Canvas, and I missed what you said. I recorded a video in Studio yesterday, and I wanted it to shrink it down, the size a little bit. Do I need to go into the HTML to do that, or?
In Canvas Studio, the player that you have to kind of work with in Canvas Studio is not as customizable as embed codes that you'd get from like YouTube or Vimeo. Let me see real fast. We may be able to. Yeah, let's look at the Canvas code. Here. I'm trying to see if I have a page. I got to manage 8,000 Canvas courses. That's my burden as DE coordinator. I got a zillion of these things. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, the embed code in a lot of Vimeo and YouTube stuff is going to allow you to change the size of the video on the page itself. Let me see here. And of course, in this moment, I can't find a page that includes an embedded Canvas Studio. Oh, I have an idea.
Mm.
Here we go. All right. So let's see. Canvas Studio is a little bit more rigid. Yep, here we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with everyone again. So at the very least, you guys can see what's going on. All right, so here I am on a page in which I have embedded a Canvas Studio video. I can see the player down here. And if I go into the HTML editor, width and height.
Do you have a particular size that you like? I mean, 720 by 420, I think is pretty big.
It can be. It can be. It depends. I remember for announcements, when you look at an announcement, it's always going to show up pretty small. So 720 by 480 is a good place to begin. I think if I remember correctly from my 3D modeling class, 800 pixels wide was the resolution that I used, and that like maxed out the frame for an announcement. For a instructional page, which is different, I can tell you real fast. I remember experimenting as well. Let's go in. Let's look at the code again on this one. And this one's at 1050 by 590. And that's almost full screen. I think 1050, I can't remember. I think the canvas page width is 1100 pixels wide, I think, or very right around there. So having the width be 1050 is going to make it almost full page width.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Patrick, could you show us how to embed a studio video with the new HTML editor? I'm not seeing that kind of bold V symbol.
Yeah, let's do that real fast. Hold on. You are correct. Our drop-down menus for all of our... Let's do... Hold on one moment, please. Yeah. You are correct. I'm not seeing it either.
Pat, it's...
I think to do it, you have to use a key command like F9 or something, and it brings up the tools.
F9. Okay, let me try that. I'm going to go into my...
Because I was playing around with it. I'm the one that emailed you about being able to access like the main page and change the... I was trying to put all this code in so I could make my course more like Accu. I reached out to you like 2 weeks ago.
Did I not respond to the email?
You did.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Let me do that.
Yeah, try the plug that's up there where the there's like a little plug icon in all the inserts, and try that one.
There we go. That's it. I think that may be it. Let me screen share so everyone can see where I'm at. And that's not super obvious. This little plug, this thing right here.
Means external resources or something.
And here's Canvas Studio. And this is going to bring us back to that same interface that we were looking at before. Thank you, whoever found the plug. Thank you.
Oh, I still have the old one here.
All right. Other questions? All right. As with everything, if you have a question, please reach out. I'm here to help. And we'll walk through. I'll help you walk through this process as much as I can. It's this stuff is complex and there's a lot of moving parts, but we'll get you through it. And it's more difficult doing it remotely too.
Patrick, I actually did have one more question. This in regards to a camera other than a webcam. So if I wanted to record a video of me performing an activity,
right.
So I don't have, I mean, I have a GoPro, and that, I don't even know how that would even hook up, right? But I do have a DSLR. Your thoughts on how to best connect a DSLR to my laptop and use that as an external cam?
Yes,
A little more better quality.
We need to get a device that will serve as a bridge between the camera and the computer itself.
Yeah, I found something, but I wasn't sure if that was the actual thing, because you can never really trust some of the things you find on the web. So
yeah, I am looking at one of my favorite companies, and I'll put the link to this piece of equipment if I can find it. Oops. Capture and playback. They are not inexpensive.
No, I remember seeing prices, but
yeah,
and that's one of the drawbacks. I was like, well, does it really that? Am I gonna use it that much? Or
yeah, once you get into the world of trying to load a, here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna put the link in the chat. Once you get into the world of loading a video, an external video source into a camera, you're gonna spend $100 getting it in. This is a company. Oops. Trying to send it to someone who's not there in chat. This is a company that is one of the leaders in the professional video world. It's called Blackmagic Designs, and they have a whole series of wonderful, wonderful products. On the page that I just sent in chat, there is a converter, or it's called Ultra Studio Recorder 3G, and it's way down at the bottom of the page because they have a whole series of products ranging from local desktop level support to, you know, television style support. And this is a good place to begin. For $115, that's a rock solid piece of equipment. I'm actually using this camera right here as a DSLR. And I have another one of their products, which is called the A10 Mini Pro, which allows me to hook up a number of video inputs into a small, like, little television switchboard that then gets fed into my computer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Patrick, this is Trang. I just had another question. When's your drop-in hours?
So we haven't quite nailed down drop-in hours for this week because our schedules are pretty much full morning, noon, and night with workshops. But next week it's probably going to be in the afternoons and then maybe 1 or 2 days in the mornings. So you'll be getting a college-wide announcement from me soon, probably in the next 2 or 3 days, if not today, as what those drop-in hours are going to look like.
Thank you.
Yep. We're here to help. Jason, another question? I see your hand still raised. Just want to make sure you're good.
Oh, no, that was from earlier. I think I just forgot to put it down.
All right. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I think we're going to call it here. I gotta scurry off to another one of these. It was nice seeing everyone, and good luck at the beginning of the semester if I don't see you between now and Saturday when officially the semester begins. And please email me and contact me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Patrick.
We'll see you later.